dog like we eating doubles anytime you give we. Well, me nah know where really wrong with Beenie. Believe you me, maybe have a flea where the vet can't see. Old dog like we eating doubles anytime you give we. Well, me nah know where really wrong with Beenie. Believe you me, maybe have a flea where the vet can't see.
Well, why you wanna this the chana and the bara and the
Good curry sauce.
Cause someone say that a DJ might take over
as the king and world boss.
Every interview you pass through, well I watch you
looking just like a clown.
One pile of doggy doo-doo, that way you spew
till your tongue turning brown.
You forget that you a dog too, and I see you
eat doubles off the ground.
Give me a key and saltfish,
big it up one time.
You a old dog, but I slip no mine. Tell me why the old dog switch and start moving.
Okay, so that was very, very funny. And it's a good thing that people in Trinidad and Tobago, they're taking this Beenie Man controversy very lightly. They're having fun with it. And this is just one example that people are not taking it too serious. It's not turning out to be this all-out cultural war between Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica, because we know Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica, we have been really competitive as two islands over the past, I would say 60, 70 years, very competitive. But the crew that did this, the Rembunction crew, I'm going to leave the link in the comment section. You can go check them out. They have a lot of excellent work on their YouTube channel. So I'm just going to leave the link in the comment section and you can just go and support them. And to show you that people are not really taking this so serious, there are a lot of people in the comment section when I post about this whole controversy. People are saying that, they forgive Beenie Man for the words that he used, and people are just ready to move on. So that is a good thing. So check out this. This is one of the influencers that pretty much came out at first, and then now he's posting that, look, Beenie Man, we forgive you. Let's check it out.
So Beenie Man has come out and apologized for the recent doubles controversy. Right? He said he didn't disrespect Trinidad. But Beenie, I just want to let you know, you have a big voice out here. You're a big name, you're an icon. And when you say something, a lot of people could take it as law. I shouldn't have to tell you that. You're a Caribbean man, and you know Caribbean people don't play with the food. Especially a cultural street food like doubles. Really and truly, it was a wild statement to make that dog don't eat doubles. Because let's be real, when Miss Netta came to Jamaica and disrespect all the dishes, the whole Caribbean jumped on that bashing train. Because Caribbean people don't play with the food. Let's be real. So personally for me, I accept your apology. We're all human beings and we all make mistakes. But I don't know if this is a saying in Jamaica, but this is a saying in Trinidad. If you have nothing good to say, just be quiet. And Jamaica, I love all you. Thanks for the solidarity on this sensitive matter. Peace.
Okay, so that was it. So based on what I'm seeing, most Trinidadians are ready to forgive Beenie Man and to move on from this controversy. And I don't think Beenie Man would have a problem going to Trinidad in the coming years or so, because Trinidad people are very forgiving. So the next story I want to talk about affects all of us in the Caribbean, all of the Caribbean islands that you can think of, would be or could be affected by this story. So Donald Trump tariff on China, 10% tariff of goods coming from China. And we have seen in the past 10 to about 5 years, the explosion with Amazon, or big Amazon, became like this worldwide multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. And after that, we saw Temu getting into the market, especially in the Caribbean. So the tariff that Donald Trump is about to impose on China, how will these tariffs affect people in the Caribbean? Because in the past 5 or so years, a lot more people in the Caribbean are ordering stuff online, getting it shipped to a U.S. address and then shipped to St. Vincent, to Jamaica, to Trinidad and Tobago. So in this next video, Kalila Reynolds from Money Media, a YouTube channel, and I'm going to also leave that in the comment section. She's going to break it down in this next video as to how the Caribbean could be affected by these tariff, the 10% tariff that Donald Trump wants to impose on China. So let's watch this video and we'll talk about it right after this.
Will your Shein and Temu hauls get more expensive because of Trump's new China tariffs, and will you get them at all? I'm Kalila Reynolds, founder and CEO of Money Media, Money Made Simple. On February 2, U.S. President Donald Trump announced an extra 10% tariff on goods from China. So when you send your Shein order to a freight forwarder in Miami like a mail pack or a rocket ship, will you have to pay that extra 10%? Now, based on our research, you might, but there are ways to avoid it. If you've been on Shein or Temu this week, you might have seen them prompting you to order from their U.S. warehouses. Those items get delivered faster and they won't have the customs duty because they're not coming from China. By the way, customs, duty, tariffs, import tax, those words all mean basically the same thing. But what I've been trying to figure out is, if I order something from China and ship it to my mail pack address, would it be taxed in the U.S. before it gets sent to Jamaica? And if so, who would pay that tax? Or would it be exempt since the item is not staying in the U.S.? Now, we spoke to one customs expert in Jamaica who explained that it may indeed be taxed in the U.S. because the item has to be cleared before it's sent to the recipient. And if it is taxed in the U.S., the recipient would have to pay that tax in order to collect the item. The recipient in the U.S. being your freight forwarder, who would then likely pass that cost on to you, the customer, when the item gets to Jamaica. We also spoke to Carrie Robinson, executive chairman of Norbrook Equity Partners, which owns Mailpack. He said they're still getting clarity, but he believes there will be an exemption for licensed freight forwarders. Now, that word licensed is key because most of your faves aren't licensed, but when I call the name, many of these U.S. shipping addresses are really just somebody anti-house. Now, for a minute, it seemed like we might not get our packages at all. USPS had temporarily suspended incoming shipments from China and Hong Kong, but they reversed that the next day. And let me add a little more context here. Because what Trump signed is an executive order removing China's de minimis exemption. Under this rule, anything worth less than $800 could be imported into the United States duty-free and without even an inspection. Now, $800 is a lot. Jamaica's de minimis is only $100 US. Remember, it was just raised from $50 last year. And with such a high de minimis, Trump thinks Americans don't have an incentive to buy American-made goods when they can just order from China duty-free. Imagine if our de minimis was $800. Local business dead. We already saw the impact of the increase to $100 this past Christmas. I went to Halfway Tree Christmas Eve evening, and there were no crowds, no lines, easy parking. I was like, well, this is weird, because I was planning to spend several hours, and I got to in like 15 minutes. I spoke to a couple store owners who said it's been like that ever since the threshold increase. So I raised that just to say I see where Trump's coming from. Americans shipped 4 million packages a day from China last year. Eliminating that $800 exemption will encourage people to buy local, but it will also increase the price of many things for Americans and by extension us in the Caribbean. Now, after 2 days of researching this story, right as I was about to hit record, I got an alert that Trump has delayed the tariffs on China because it was...
Okay, so that was Kalila Reynolds from Money Media. And as you can see, she broke it down very nicely. And I guess we just have to wait and see how, with this Trump tariff, when it takes effect, how it's going to affect people in the Caribbean. Because as I said, like in the recent years, we have seen a lot of people, whatever gadgets needed, some clothing item, people are ordering more now from online in the Caribbean, getting it shipped to a US address and then forward to whether it's St. Vincent, Barbados, Jamaica. We have seen online shopping in the Caribbean have just skyrocketed. So this is it's going to be very interesting to see how this would impact the Caribbean in terms of the percentage, how much more you're going to have to pay to get packages shipped to the Caribbean. And the next story, again, that I have to talk about also have to do with the U.S., also have to do with Donald Trump tariff on Canada. So we saw Donald Trump threat with a 25% tariff on Canada and on Mexico. And we saw that there was a delay. They delayed it for a month. But here in Canada, people are taking it serious, and now it pretty much spark a new revolution in Canada where people are now saying, you know what, we should buy Canadian, and people are pretty much pushing a boycott of a lot of American goods that we get in Canada. So this is a report from CTV. Let's take a look and talk when you come back.
Also be a challenge to buy food and beverages that are 100% Canadian. And there's a distinction between product of Canada and made in Canada, which could involve U.S. companies operating in this country. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has been looking into some of the American brands that are made right here in Canada. Adrian.
Sandy, take this Molson plant here behind me in Toronto. It's now partially American owned. Inside, Canadians are brewing Coors Light. Another example would be Kraft peanut butter or Lay's potato chips. American companies made in Canada. And one food product expert believes if we were only to buy exclusively Canadian, it could have unintended consequences for the economy.
We need the capital investment, and we need the products that they make to be able to meet the demands of Canadian consumers.
If we were to only buy Canadian brands exclusively, what could be the outcome?
As large corporations, they are our largest employers in the manufacturing industry within our sector, and if they're not here, those jobs disappear. I applaud people that feel very strongly and patriotic, but just make really informed decisions about products that are actually made in Canada.
Food and consumer health in Canada is the largest manufacturing sector in the country. It's bigger than both the automotive and aerospace sectors combined, employing nearly 450,000 people. Sandy.
Okay, so that was the report, and as you see, a lot of Canadians now are becoming more patriotic. When they're going to the supermarket, they're looking on the products and see, made in Canada or grown in Canada, and that's how people are shopping now. So the thing is this whole tariff, this trade war between Canada and the USA, is this going to backfire on Donald Trump, and is it going to cost Americans a lot of money? Because a lot of businesses, and I don't think most Americans know the magnitude of business that Americans do in Canada. As I said a few days ago, that about 50% of businesses that are operated in Canada have some connection to America. Most, like a lot of our fast food chains, American fast food. A lot of our stores, American stores. So if people decide that they're going to boycott, they're going to buy Canadian first, this could have a ripple effect on the American business model that's happening here in Canada. And we have seen over the years stores like Target, stores like Sears, like Nordstrom, a lot of multi-billion-dollar stores that came to Canada, American stores, and they had to close down within 5 years, and they lost millions of dollars. Target was the last store that closed down in Canada. American brand, but it did not survive in Canada. So could this end up backfiring on Donald Trump, that this whole tariff war is going to trigger a new level of people being so patriotic that they're going to say, you know what, let's buy Canada first? And what would this mean for American businesses in Canada? So guys, those were the stories today. So sound off in the comment section and let me know what you think. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. And remember, peace. I'm out.